studied object lessons, and it was a module about material culture. So we were assigned an object at the beginning of the module, and the whole module was about researching that object and writing first a book chapter about it with our own research, and then working in a group to create an online exhibition about our object and different objects. My object was a picnic basket from the 1960s or 70s, which is also called Agatha Christie's picnic basket because it belonged to her second husband and his second wife. And it contained a set of random objects. Nobody knew how they ended up there. And it was a special object because it is in the archaeology collection, but nobody really knows why it is there or why it is important. So it's kind of the mystery that surrounds it that has made it be part of a collection. So the first assessment that we had was a book chapter, which we had to write ourselves, and we had a lot of freedom to do the research, talk to the curators, and choose which part of perhaps the history of the object or the material of the object we wanted to talk about. And that was 40% of our grade. And then the second assessment was a group project. We were divided between groups of 5 or 6 people, and we had to create an online exhibition and work together and try and connect our objects with a theme. So my group particularly, we had the theme of interpretation through observation, where we assessed the importance of interpretation with all of our different objects and tried to connect them in that way. So that was the second assessment, and for that we had a presentation, a 30-minute presentation, and then an online exhibition. I think it was very interesting and great to be assessed as a group. We were able to really work together and try and improve each other's work, being critical but really working together. So that was great because we really produced a product that we had all worked together. However, it was not too stressful because we had already had the first assignment, which kind of reflects your own work and your own research. And we had also had a lot of feedback throughout the whole module. We started at the first few weeks, we did this student journal where every week we had to write about 300 words about our object. And that did not count towards assessment, but it was really useful because we got a lot of feedback from that, and then we could use that in our book chapter or in the presentation. So being assessed as a group was great, but it was also nice to know that we were also assessed individually, so it was great to have that balance. We were on the right track. We knew what to focus on, perhaps what to explore more because of that formative assessment, so that was really, really useful. For the oral presentation, we were assessed by our tutors and by our peers. So the peer assessment was around 5%, which is not a percentage that can really affect your grade, but it was nice to have that because it's good to have a balance between the tutors who know a lot about the subject and how to create online exhibitions, and then students who see it with more fresh eyes, I would say. So it was great to have that balance. And we really all took it very seriously. And the assessment criteria was made very clear. So it was not like we just watched the exhibition and gave a random mark, but we were actually really serious about it. And then we also had peer assessment within our groups. That was, I think, 10% of the online exhibition grade. And again, in my case, that was really not only useful because you get feedback from your peers and you understand what you did well and perhaps where you could improve, but also I think that if in the group there's someone who's not doing as much work and who you've already talked to, it's nice to be able to say that in a good way, but expose that because it's always great to have a group conversation and a group project where everyone participates. There's definitely more variety, more of a conversation. Being able to have so many different kinds of assessments, so 2 different kinds of peer assessment and then an online exhibition and the book chapter and the formative assessment, it was really great to have so many points where you could be told where you could improve or what was already great, rather than other modules where perhaps I have one essay and everything's about that essay and you don't have a formative assessment before and you don't really know your professors as well. yes. Also because for one of the lectures, half of it was specifically dedicated to going through the assessment criteria with us, and if we had any questions about what it meant, because sometimes it can be really difficult to assess your peers, because you don't really know what a 70 means or a 60 means. So Thomas made it very clear what that meant and the different points that we had to be aware of, and yeah, it was really, really useful to have that too. This module really surprised me in the way that, like, how we had to work with the objects. We were really encouraged to touch the objects and ask questions about them and draw them, and it was really a different way to conduct research. And I think that even though perhaps in the future I won't work with objects as much again, it helps to know that you can ask so many more questions about just the topic you're studying in general, and that you see by looking at the object. And asking the curators of the exhibitions, for example, about it and about its history and about its material. So maybe, yeah, I think it's a type of research that can inform the research that I do in the future, just by, yeah, making me ask more questions about what I'm studying.